Arsenal 4, Leicester City 2. What a game yesterday we had. Quite nerve-wracking and heart in the mouth kind of game for a lot of Arsenal fans, but we got through in the end. Um, but yeah, look, it wasn't easy. It was a lot harder than I think most of us expected. I predicted a 4-0 win. Unfortunately, we had to go and concede those 2 goals. And to be honest, if it wasn't for those 2 goals, I don't think we would have scored 4. I think probably we would have gotten like one more at best and made it 3-0, and we would have seen the game out. Um, but yeah, let's get into it. We'll just dissect the game. Don't forget to like and subscribe, obviously, please, and share the video, and share the channel so that the channel can continue growing. Um, Look, I think we started really well. I like the way we started the game. We dominated. We were pinning the team to their defensive third. Um, Obviously, like this was in a way there was a lot of uniqueness about this game, or there was a lot of importance on this game. And the reason I say that is because everyone has been labeling us as a park the bus kind of team. Um, a team that's been sitting back, a team that's gonna play on the counterattack and play defensive this season. And obviously, that was just like knee-jerk, brain-dead comments because anyone who knows how Arsenal play and who's seen us last season will remember that last season as well, against those same teams, Spurs, Brighton, City, we had less possession, right? So obviously, people were just like jumping on the bandwagon of, oh, Arsenal are going to be a park the bus kind of team. It was very obvious we're going to dominate possession this team, and we did, right? We had like I think over 70% possession. Um, I think there were many moments where like we had like 90% possession over a spell of 5-10 minutes because these guys just could not get the ball out. And we just kept moving it and creating chances. And I love the fact that we were not just passing the ball aimlessly. We were actually passing it with the intention of breaking their defense and um, going behind their defensive line. I mean, obviously, and creating clear cut chances, which we did. We did from the very beginning. We were creating chances. Martinelli missed a good chance in the first half, which was pretty annoying because I just kept thinking, man, he keeps missing sitter after sitter. And the funny thing is, when he missed that chance, I'm like, when the hell is he gonna finally break this jinx? Um, and luckily enough, 10 minutes later, he does. Good play by Saka, who obviously gave that key pass to Timber, who ended up squaring it, and Martinelli with I don't want to say a lucky finish because I do think he meant to obviously hit it low, but I think it was a slightly scuffed shot because it did go rolling quite slow. And the keeper obviously saw it, I think, quite late because there were defenders ahead of him. But regardless, he was in the right place. He took the shot. It went in well. And that's all that matters because if he does a lot of good things and misses in front of goal, we criticize him for it. So we have to give praise when he does score, and it was good for him to get that goal. And then obviously, like, we just kept dominating, kept pressing them, kept getting the ball back quickly, and trying to create chances, and we got that second goal from Trossard. I thought, look, with that being said, yes, he got a goal, he got an assist. But I am going to say this, and I've said it on South's channel as well. While I'll praise Martinelli, and I'm glad he got the goal, I'm glad he got the assist, and I'll end up saying he had a decent game, but I don't think we should go crazy either. We shouldn't like necessarily overhype him so much and like, oh, look, he's back. He's not necessarily back. He needs to do this consistently over the next, like, at least in 7 or 8 of the next 10 games, in my opinion. And I don't mean he should score and assist in 7 or 8 of the next 10 games, but I'm saying he should have some GA contribution or good performances in at least 70 or 80% of the remaining of the next 10 games that we're having, 10 to 15 games, and we can take it from there. But yeah, obviously it's a good decision by Arteta to start him. I know a lot of people wanted him benched after some of the poor performances he's had. I personally wanted Trossard starting on the left, and I thought Jesus and Havertz as the front two would be good enough for Leicester. But clearly, like, that was the perfect choice by Arteta because both players he started, Trossard and Martelli, both ended up having good game and contributing to the goals. But yeah, look, we go 2-0 up. Complete domination. There's not a single moment where I looked at the game and said, Leicester could come back. But then again, unfortunately, like, Saliba gives away that silly free kick against Vardy. And then they get that free kick and they cross it in. And Leicester obviously get quite lucky with that deflected header. I think if it wasn't deflected, Raya was definitely going to get that ball because I think it was going to come straight at him. but not necessarily straight at him. I think it was a bit towards the left, which is why he went to the left side. But then the deflection caused it to go the other way. And look, it's unlucky. It happens. I was a bit upset that we conceded because I would love that. I would have loved us to have a clean sheet, but that didn't happen. But I definitely did not blame Raya or the team. I was a bit annoyed at Saliba for giving away that free kick, but it is what it is. Like I don't think it's something to be thinking about for long. I shouldn't like. I didn't want to stay stuck on that goal because it is a deflected goal in the end. Um, I wish after that we went and just pressed them and dominated a lot more and tried to get that third goal soon. But the reality is they didn't give us much time because I think what they scored their equalizer. Um, okay, there was enough time. There was like 14 minutes. Sorry, 16 minutes. Um, 16 minutes between their first and the second goal. So I do wish we got a third goal in those 16 minutes because I think that would have completely changed the game and we would have slowed the game down. Leicester would probably have been demoralized. So there was enough time. Like my initial reaction was correct. There was enough time for us to get that third goal. We just missed chances and we missed sitters. And then obviously they get that equalizer. Incredible goal by James Justin. What a strike. I don't think any keeper would have had a chance. I mean, the ball literally, he was volleyed into the post and it went in. So it was not even like something that Dreyer could have potentially got a finger on or something. But yeah, look, good, very good goal. Again, not something you can be that mad about. You can probably argue like, why was he even allowed to take a shot? Calafiori probably could have closed them down. We shouldn't have allowed Ndidi to cross the ball in. Um, but I think these lapses happen. It's fine. It's not the end of the world, especially when it's a free goal like that. Um, if we can, I don't want us to concede at all. But if we are to concede, I would rather concede volleys like that versus conceding like one-on-ones or something. Because one-on-ones means you just had a horrendous defensive performance or defensive lapse where someone has gone through on goal. Like the Brighton goal, right? The Brighton goal, like Minter, I think went one-on-one. Obviously, he missed a chance, but then Joao Pedro scored the rebound. That was a massive defensive lapse. This one wasn't necessarily a massive defensive lapse. We could have done better, but I wouldn't necessarily hold the defense against it or say that was a bad defensive performance just because of that wonderful volley. Um, but genuinely, look, I've said this on Sat's channel. I'll say it again. I didn't think at all at any moment even when they got the equalizer, I was annoyed, but I did not once think we're going to get out with a draw, right? At all. Because the way we were creating chances and the fact that we had already scored 2 goals, it didn't look like one of those games. Like West Ham, if you remember last season when we lost 2 at home, it looked like one of those games where we conceded 2 goals, but we were not able to put anything through the net. But this wasn't the case. We had already scored 2 goals. We were creating chance after chance after chance. Leicester City were like caught asleep in many defensive moments. Saka was roasting his fullback. Um, Completed the most dribbles I think in a game this season and had 8 chances created. I think out of which maybe 3 or 4 were big chances. So we clearly were breaking them down. It was just a matter of when. Now the funny thing is that when came with a deflected goal, which unfortunately got credited to Ndidi, which I find a bit surprising because I thought the rule was if a player takes a shot and it was heading towards target anyways, but it gets deflected in, it counts towards the attacker. So I'm not sure why it was given as an Ndidi own goal. I think it's a bit odd, but it doesn't matter. Um, it was obviously Trossard's effort, so he should get praise for that. Um, and we tried that same routine a few minutes before that, right, where Trossard went to Saka when he was about to take the corner, and he obviously spoke to him, told him something, I'm not sure. And then Trossard waited at the far post, and Saka crossed it all the way to the far post. Trossard hit the ball, but it was deflected out. And then a few minutes later, we try the same thing, and obviously this time we get a bit lucky, and it goes in. And even though I'm saying we got lucky that it went in, there's no question that we deserve that win because some of the chances we missed are unforgivable. Like that Martinelli chance we missed in the first half, unforgivable. The Havertz volley, beautiful, like control with his chest, and then he volleyed it, but it was still kind of straight at the keeper. So, who by the way had an amazing game, incredible game um, by Leicester's keeper. I forgot his name. I need to check his name out because he definitely deserves credit. Um, But yeah, look, it was obviously a very very good goalkeeping performance by him. The one, the most unforgivable chance for me, which pissed me off, was the Trossard chance. And even though he scored, and even though he was playing well and he was creating, right, I was just so damn annoyed at that chance he missed, because I think that was brilliant play. Let me just get the keeper's name so I can get it out of the way. Hermansen. Yes, Hermansen. I need to see how many saves he made that game, because I think he made like at least 8, 9 saves. I could be wrong. Um, it doesn't say at all. Uh, expected goals prevented 0.98. Now I need to know how many saves he had. Yeah, I can't find it, but he definitely had a lot of saves. Um, but that Trossard chance, though, yes, it was a mistake from Leicester City, but I still think it was a good reading by Declan Rice. Made a good run, intercepted the ball, and that mentality to give a reverse pass back into Trossard, because a lot of players would have probably stopped the ball, turned, and by that time you get closed down, or he would have passed it to the outside. The way he reversed past that ball to Trossard, I thought was very very good thinking in a quick moment, um, which goes against like what people say about he cannot pass, he doesn't have vision, which is just insane for someone who had like 7 goals and 8 assists last season. Um, so yeah, it was very good, a very very good play by Declan Rice. It was a sitter by Trossard. He could have finished it at the far post. He could have chipped it. He could have squared it to Havertz for an easy tap in. He could have faked, dropped the keeper and then maybe like turned and scored. I don't know. He had a lot of options, and instead he decides to take it that way. Now, yes, it was a brilliant save by the keeper, but when you're in a one-on-one situation, even if the keeper pulls a brilliant save, I'm never gonna say credit the keeper more than I criticize the attacker, right? Um, I think penalties is a different thing. I think when you're taking a penalty, um, if you take it like at the far post, right? And if it's like top corner, for example, or even if it's bottom corner, but at the far post, and the keeper somehow pulls a very good save, fair enough. You can praise the keeper more than you can criticize the player for missing it. But when it comes to that one-on-one chance, I'm sorry, you cannot be missing that. And it's funny because he's one of our best finishers. He's an extremely clutch player. So it was quite annoying that he missed that opportunity. Luckily for us, he kind of made up for it with the goal. Um, I don't care, as I said, if it's a deflection or not. I don't care if it's considered an own goal. It was still his his mindset to go and stand there and wait for the cross to come in again for the second time in a row. By the way, I don't know why Leicester didn't mark him when they saw it happen the first time. They should have marked Trossard in the second attempt, but for whatever reason, they still let him go there. I think, given how good we are at set pieces, it kind of like worries teams. So they focus on Gabriel, they focus on Saliba and obviously Calafiore and all these guys. Gabriel should have had that goal, a very good header, again saved by the keeper. Um, but yeah, one thing this game tells me is it's such a massive response to all the criticism we've got over the last few weeks about, is Arsenal going to be a park the bus kind of team? Are they going to be a defensive team? Are they going to play on the counter attack all season? And it was obvious that the reason we played that way is because of the fixtures we had and because of the red cards we got, right? Um, this was complete domination. And just like that, with one game, we have now topped the league for big chances created. Obviously, Aston Villa is yet to play, and Tottenham and United and all have to play later. So depends on what happens in their game. They could go ahead of us, but as things stand right now, we're top of the league with big chances created. I think we're equal with Chelsea, 20 each, right? So people need to relax, calm down. It's gonna come. We're gonna increase that number against Southampton. We're gonna increase that number against Bournemouth away from home. We're gonna keep creating those chances. So people need to breathe a little bit. Um, Amazing performance. I think a couple of seasons ago, with the way the game was going and the way Leicester got the equalizer, I think we probably would not have won this game a couple of seasons ago, because our players sort of, had their heads down and got demoralized. But this is a different Arsenal. It's a different mentality. We are proper mentality monsters now. I know people used to say this last year, like Arsenal fans used to say this last year to like kind of praise the team and to do like a banter kind of thing, but we genuinely are mentality monsters now. The fact that we don't give up until the very end, and we are we are probably one of the most dangerous teams at like fighting till the end of stoppage time, um, gives us a very good chance at winning the league, in my opinion. Um, And yeah, look, amazing performance. I want to like just pick up certain players. Obviously, Ethan Waneri came off the bench, made a big impact. That first attempt, I think at the first, it was the first touch of the ball for him, and he took a beautiful curled shot from outside the box, which was narrowly saved by the keeper. And um, he played really well in that role. I definitely would want to see him start against Southampton. The only thing is, I don't know who would he start for, because he's obviously not going to bench Arteta's definitely not going to bench Saka. He's not going to bench Martinelli um, after he just scored and assisted. He won't bench Havertz because I think he wants that physical presence up top who can, win the headers and be a nuisance to defenses. And again, after this performance, he's not going to bench Trossard either, right? Because he was involved in 2 goals. Um, so I'm not sure. I don't think he will start him. I think he will continue playing the same team. Maybe he'll consider starting him against Southampton. Um, maybe he'll consider starting him against Southampton because he'll probably see that um, um, we are playing a lot of games every 2-3 days, so it's a good opportunity to rest someone. Maybe rest I don't know Havertz or Martinelli, whoever it is, and start Ethan Waneri in the 10. Um, I did make a mistake on Sarge channel, so I need to correct that now because I said I'd rather see him start against Southampton, and based on his performance, we can decide if we want to start him against PSG. But then I just realized the PSG game is before the Southampton game. The PSG game is literally in 2 days. Um, so yeah, look, amazing performance by him. Saka, incredible game. Everyone talks about, oh, he gets GNA only from set pieces, which is crazy to even think about because out of his 5 assists, 2 are from set pieces. The other 3 are from open play. He's also got a goal, obviously. But today he didn't get a goal. He didn't get credited with the assist because the goal went down as an own goal. But the guy had like 8 dribbles, was roasting the fullback, creating chances left, right, and center. It was fantastic this game. I thought Thomas Partey was really good this game as well. He was winning the ball quickly and creating chances and giving passes in dangerous positions. Timber was fantastic. Um, Calafiori, for me, it's a mixed reaction because I thought he was very good offensively. Defensively, I think he had some good moments, but he had a lot of bad moments. He committed the most fouls of any Arsenal player. He had 4. Uh, and I think the next person was like 2, if I'm not wrong. I think the next person had like 2 fouls. So that's a lot of like for you to be having double the number of fouls that the next person had. It just kind of shows. I'm just looking at it now. So when I look at the fouls, yeah, he had 4, and the next person was on 2, which is William Saliba, who also didn't have the greatest game in my opinion. I think one of the fouls was obviously the free kick that was given to Leicester, and they scored the first goal from it. And I can't remember what the other foul was. But yeah, he had 4 fouls. He needs to be careful. He could have been sent off for sure because he did have that second foul. I do think it would have been slightly harsh because I don't think it was like a bad tackle or he pulled the player down like when they were like running through on goal or something like that. So it could have been a bit harsh. I like the fact that the referee went and cautioned him and told him this is your last chance. I'm assuming that's what he told him because I think there was like a warning given. He did book Bonate obviously for suggesting that Calafiori should get a second yellow card, which is nice because that's a consistency you want to see. It's always annoying when it goes against us, but we have to praise referees when they do the right things when it goes in our favor as well, because Arsenal fans will be quiet in that regards. Yeah, so Calafiori, I think needs to. He's good. He's a good defender for sure, but he just needs to watch out with some of these rash tackles and fouls. But going forward, he's fantastic. I like Ben White. I rate him tremendously. I want to see him use his squad option this season because I don't think he's better than Timber on the right as a right back, and I think Calafiori is too good of a left back to be sitting on the bench. And I like having a right-footed right back and a left-footed left back because you saw that goal of Martinelli that came from Timber because he was able to square it with his right foot. If Timber was on the left and he had the same opportunity, he probably doesn't square it with the same accuracy. So yeah, fantastic performance by both of them going forward. Timber, I think, had like 7, if I'm not wrong, 7 key passes that game, which is only 1 less than Saka. So it's mad to even think about. Like that's how well he performed. But yeah, look, very very good performances. I'm glad that we got this game out of the way. We need to make sure we don't have like these kind of heart in mouth moments against Southampton and Bournemouth. Um, it's a very good opportunity for us to get more goals in, to get the goal difference up as well. because you never know, it could play a difference towards the end of the season. Like City are a team that are going nowhere, and if we end up having like 12, 13, 14 wins in a row, City are a team that can match that. So we have to go with the assumption that we could potentially have the same number of wins or the same number of points as Man City towards the end of the season, and goal difference could come into play. So I do want to see our club improve on the goal difference. But yeah, look, we move on to the next game. PSG will be a very hard game. They're a team that loves dominating possession. I think they have the highest or the second highest possession average per game this season, and they've always been like first or second. I think it's always them and Bayern Munich competing for the top 2, 3 spots. Um, so they're definitely not going to come to the Emirates and let us have most of the ball. They're going to press us. They're going to try and keep the ball as much as possible. They're going to obviously try and counter quickly. They have players who can harm us on the counter attack. They have players who can do really well on possession. So we need to step up that game. I do want to see the same starting lineup play against them as well. I don't want to see any changes because I think all these players are going to go in form. But yeah, it's a big game, and we need to for sure recover from the first match because yeah, it was away from home, but it was still like 2 points dropped. Because Atalanta is a team, in my opinion, that we should be beating, home or away. So the fact that we drew that game is it's fine. It's not the end of the world, but we need to get some of these points. The home, I think we need to win every single home game in the Champions League. And if we draw this PSG game, I still think we'll go through the next round because we have a lot of games. But it just we don't need another match that kind of puts doubts in players' heads. Um, and if they draw this game, they'll start. I feel like the players themselves might start thinking like, are we good enough to compete for the Champions League, or are we still short? And if we beat PSG, that's a statement win. I think that gives our players a massive boost of confidence. So yeah, let's see how it goes. But yeah, like great performances. I think the team is playing really well. I think we're going to continue dominating possession in the Premier League for the next 2, 3 games until we face Liverpool, in which case it'll probably be a very close game. And yeah, as long as Martinelli keeps up this form that he had against Leicester, and as long as Saka obviously keeps racking up numbers, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. Moreno's back to training next week, according to Arteta, so that's a massive boost in the midfield because I do want to see a midfield of Rice, Moreno, and Partey because I think Moreno can create, not to Odegaard's level, but I think he can pass. I think he can be a danger to the opposition when it comes to getting into the box, scoring, and just being a nuisance on as an eight. It just gives us like options to rotate because I think one key factor for us to win the league this season, which Pep has done incredibly well over the last few years, is to rotate the team. Right, that means we go into a Premier League team without having the same starting 11. We should not be starting the same 11 in 2, 3 consecutive games, in my opinion. We have like a couple of players on the bench that are good enough to start, and we need to make sure we're using that rotation. Whether it's Calafiori sometimes playing as a centre back, and we play Timber left back maybe and rest Gabriel. Maybe it's like Ben White starts and we rest Timber. Maybe it's if Moreno is back now, he maybe it's starting Moreno and Rice and resting Partey, or Moreno and Partey and resting Rice. Maybe Sterling starting some games and resting either Saka or one of the left wingers. So we need to have that kind of rotation. Jesus maybe as well. So we need to utilize the squad because if we don't, the issue we'll face is that our players will, the chance of them getting injured are higher because they're playing more games. And then the squad players that you call up upon when needed might not be in form, right? Like they might be a bit complacent or they might be out of touch because they haven't started or haven't played a lot of games this season. So we need to ensure that these things are not happening. So yeah, look, big up the lads and another 3 points, 1 point behind the leaders. And hopefully we smash PSG. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's it for now. And please don't forget to share the video as well. And until the next one, take care, guys.